Today we're going to be using Lalvin 71B yeast. It's one of my favorites to use. I find that it works pretty well in all types of conditions, whether it's warmer or colder. And it has a alcohol percentage, I believe, of up to about 14%. So you can make a pretty strong mead with it. This is what we're working with today. As you can see, I've got my growler that I'm planning on using. There's a little bit of sanitizer still left in there. That's not going to hurt anything. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm going to use about 2 pounds of honey. So when I make mead, I find it easy to just use some type of funnel, as it allows the yeast and the water and honey and everything to just strain itself in. So this is looking pretty much at the level that I want it to be for mixing. I don't want to add any more water just yet, because if I fill the water up too much, it's going to be harder to mix this around. And as you can see, all of the honey is really at the bottom of here, and you really want the water and the honey to be mixed up very well. So I'm going to give it a shake, pretty much shake it until there's no more residual honey at the bottom, and then I'll fill it up with more water. So I still see a little bit of crystals at the bottom. Once you think it's shaken enough, shake for a couple more minutes. So it's finally shaken up enough that I'm pretty comfortable with it. As you can see, it starts to look more of a light brown. That's, again, because there's a lot of air bubbles in here now, kind of giving it that light effect. So I just filled it up with water to almost the gallon line, and as you can see, more of a foam layer forms at the top. That's why you don't fill it all the way up when you start mixing, because you're not going to be able to really mix it with all that foam. I just eyeball it, pour in about half a packet, and then I'm going to take my yeast nutrient. The label says to use a teaspoon, so I'm going to use a teaspoon. When it comes to yeast nutrient, I like to use exactly as much as it says, because depending on certain yeast nutrients that you use, like Mead K, it can create an off flavor. This is just a generic kind, I don't know, so I just follow how much it tells me to use. Get a nice little stir. And I make a wine or a mead, I always write down the date and everything that I've put in it. So 2 pounds of Wellesley Farms organic raw honey, water just past 1 gallon line, 1 teaspoon yeast nutrient, half packet Lalvin 71B. Then I write down the starting gravity. That way, if I have multiple brews going at once, or if I want to recreate this brew, I have an idea of what's going on.